Hello YouTube, my name's Trilane Advanced, this is Dota 2 and this is my introduction slash guide to Jakiro. Jakiro is a great AoE support hero who has some pretty damn good stat game, especially in his strengths, which makes him very survivable. He's a hero that's very clunky. He has one of the slowest turning rates in the game, as well as is particularly slow on his feet. However, his skills hit very hard and do a lot of control especially. That's something he's famous for. As far as where to play him, put him on the safe lane, particularly in a tri-lane. As defensive tri-lane, he is amazing in. He's literally one of the best defensive tri-lanes ever. He's not too great in a duel versus duel setup, but hey. In this game, we are going to be playing a defensive tri-lane. This is the randoms. I'm playing with an alchemist and a warlock in my tri-lane. That's not particularly great, but it definitely has killing potential on anyone who happens to go up here. As far as the heroes that are going up here, I believe it's going to be a Marana and an Earthshaker, which is a very strong diving combination. They have a lot of damage when they hit hard, as well as exceedingly long stuns. I think this guy, I think he was a little bit tentative about going into a tri-lane, and later into this game, me and the Warlock definitely realized that he is not used to playing carry heroes. Certainly not used to playing Alchemist, because he goes to the jungle way more than he needs to. Alchemist is a hero that comes online very fast. I know he's a hard carry. The reason he comes online very fast though is because he farms very fast, and he farms very efficiently, especially in a lane setup, especially in a tri-lane setup, because he's almost guaranteed to get all the last hits. Sadly this game, he didn't realize that. He went to the jungle a lot, which kind of pissed me off. As far as items to pick up, I've got a salve, clarity, and tangos. Basic regen for me. This guy is going to go around for the try and get first blood. He's going to go on the Windrunner. This is a pretty good option as far as I'm concerned. He does eat an arrow for it, but we pick up a pretty damn easy first blood. It might not have even been necessary for me to throw out the ice path there. The reason I threw it out though is because I just wanted to guarantee that he wouldn't get away. And immediately from that, you can see I got my immediate first blood. I need to rotate as fast as possible, get myself a stack, and immediately get ready to pull this lane. And this is basically just how you want to play in a defensive tri-lane. Tri-lanes are something that a lot of people are very scared of doing, but a lot of people also don't realize just how easy they are. It's very simple to play a defensive tri-lane support or carry. It's much harder to play in dual versus dual lane setup. In a situation like this where we're against dual lanes, it's so easy for us to play this game, like really easy. And as well as that, they don't actually have any a good defensive dual lane on their end. So our long lane is going to do really well, which this game is a Huskar, which is really strange. And again, this is the point where I was really confused. This guy should be in the lane. Like, there's no way he should be over here. I've set the courier to flying here. An issue we did have is I bought courier, the Warlock immediately bought courier afterwards because he just assumed I wouldn't do. That's not uncommon for pub players to do, unless you're communicating with each other extensively. It's not uncommon to see stuff like that happening where people don't expect each other to get things like couriers and stuff. Annoyingly, look, the Alchemist fucked up my pull camp, so we didn't get all the XP from it so far, which kind of pissed me off. And it also caused the Warlock to be on his own within the lane, and that ended in his death. So that's bad play by him. If you're a carry in a defensive tri-lane, you want to be in the lane all the time with a support. One of those supports should be stacking and pulling pretty much constantly. The other should be harassing from the sides, as well as providing basic security for the carry in the lane. He shouldn't be getting a huge amount of experience. He should be getting most of his experience though from the fact that you should be rotating your pulling support around a lot to get kills and such. And there's no way we're going to kill this guy. But we're just trying to put down a little extra damage on him. And the thing with Jakiro as well is, especially his Ice Pass, which is his his second skill actually, but it's always the first one that you want to max. It does a formation, it's a basic, you saw it there, it's a big AoE stun. It takes a formation delay of 0.5 seconds before it actually stuns people. The duration of the stun goes up from 1 to 2.2 seconds, so pretty long stun, not something huge though. And I am going to try and eat up the last of these creeps here. I was kind of annoyed with this guy. I said, look, we can push, because we have like good pushing heroes and stuff. Actually no, this isn't the point where I said we can push. This is the point where I'm going to do a double pull. This is something I've been taught a little bit by professional players and stuff, and I've seen this done a lot more in professional play. This is basically where you drag the creeps, These creeps in this camp here have to die just as these creeps get into range to aggro them, and this pulls them across. And again, Alchemist's positioning here is really, really annoying. I kept on telling him, but he refused to communicate in any way. He's probably one of those people that when it asks you what languages you put English down because you want to be able to matchmake with more people. This is really selfish. If you guys don't speak a language, don't put it on the fucking thing. Like, it's really bad because it basically just lowers the amount of communication, and it's not even anyone's fault. It's not like he's got muted or anything in the game, because generally when that happens to people, they say mute. They put muted in their name and stuff so that people realise what's happened. But either way, he's kind of fucking up the whole like equilibrium of the tri-lane. But you're seeing we're still kind of winning our tri-lane. Pudge did commit suicide. So we're not actually winning our tri-lane that well, but we're definitely more than breaking even. We're doing okay. And at this point the Alchemist just fucked off. So I just said to the Warlock, at this point, you know what, screw it, we'll just play this as a standard dual lane. I'll pull and stuff. You can get all the XP from the lane. You will have to play a little bit more safe in the lane. It's kind of annoying because if the Alchemist was playing properly at this point, where he was up with where the Warlock is right now, and the Warlock was slightly to the right, giving him security and stuff, this would be much more efficient for us overall. We'd be farming much more efficiently, and the hero who needs to farm in the lane, i.e. the Alchemist, would be doing that rather than farming the jungle. Now for those of you who don't realise this, people don't realise this very often, farming the jungle is almost always less efficient than farming the lanes, unless you... See, I pinged him here, I gave him the warning pin here to like tell him to fuck off, because his shenanigans are really annoying me, and here, he screws up my pull now, so... This is basically, as far as this sort of behaviour is concerned, guys, it's really, really bad. A lot of people would report you for this sort of thing, you know, and reports are getting more and more dangerous. You do not want that shit, because it will get you, like, muted in-game. But this is sort of stuff is really, really bad play, is really annoying play, and it's causing problems for me. If he was in the lane right now getting creeps, they wouldn't have had the opportunity to go around like that, because the Warlock would be in their way, basically, performing sort of a buffer, and they wouldn't be able to get an opportunity where they put a ward in my camp, which is something that's very, very smart to do, but very annoying. If you can't tell, I'm frustrated watching this guy right now. Like, I knew this was a good game as far as I was concerned, but this guy is so frustrating. And he's actually causing me to really lose out on XP because I didn't get that full pull camp of creeps twice. So I'm only on level 3 at 6 minutes, where I could easily be on level 4 right now. And we should also be winning the lane better as well. He has finally transitioned into a point where he is in the right position. This is basically the perfect positioning as far as a tri-lane is concerned. I'm in a position to stack this extra camp here. I can also provide security for the Alchemist who's farming in the lane. I can rotate whenever I want to harass from the side. He's farming the lane, getting the maximum amount of XP. I'm not really getting anything, but any time that the pull camp is used up, the Warlock can come around from the pull camp, follow me in, will come from the side, disable the enemy, and get a pretty much guaranteed kill. Because you have 3 heroes versus 2 who are going to be getting less XP because they're being harassed a lot, there's a lot of pulling going on, and they're just generally not going to be able to get up to the creeps to get XP. This is something that a lot of League players don't really get. Tri-lanes get more XP than dual lanes, now and solo lanes, generally, or at least they should. The reason for this is because playing in a dual lane is so disadvantageous compared to playing in a tri-lane, is that you very, very rarely even get to near enough to the creeps to get XP. And this basically means that if you're not getting the XP, this basically means that you miss out on so much XP, and the pull camp kills so much of the XP that you would normally be getting. I'm stacking here for the Alchemist because I know he's addicted to the jungle. This basically means that a dual lane, especially versus a tri-lane, has the possibility of being sort of 10 minutes in, level 2, both of them. That's how strong it is to be playing in a dual lane versus a tri-lane. The issue here is the Alchemist is in fact an idiot. Annoyingly, they're playing, the Mirana and the Windrunner are playing okay, but at this point, the Windrunner is only level 2, the Mirana is level 5. Ideally, if we were playing really well, the Mirana would be maybe level 3 and the Windrunner would be level 2. I would be sort of just on the cusp of getting level 4, Warlock would be probably level 5, and the Alchemist would be somewhere around level 8. That's how well you do, if you do the Trilane absolutely properly. At this point though, the Warlock and the Alchemist kind of dived a bit far. I believe the Alchemist actually got out. Did he get out? No, he went to go and farm creeps, because that's the sort of thing he does. But only inefficiently, remind you. He doesn't farm creeps efficiently. And at this point I was a little bit worried, because it was obvious that me and the Warlock were probably the players that most knew what was happening. Generally this is an issue because you don't want you don't want your core heroes to be played by numbskulls. And that is an issue that we're suffering with here, and I'm trying to keep myself just out of range of being stunned by either of these guys. I'm positioning myself where I'm trying to get as much XP from that as well. And here now I'm taking over the Alchemist job because I'm the one in the lane, trying to get XP in last hits. I'm a little scared though because I know that the Dragon Knight and the Windrunner are here, so I'm going to miss last hits basically on the fact that I'm just scared of going up. Because I know that the Dragon Knight and Windrunner are here, and I'm pretty sure that I haven't seen anybody else on the map on their team for a while, so this is actually going to turn to a 5v5 engagement soon. I still haven't talked about skills for Jakiro. I've mostly been just talking about the dynamics of tri-laning and stuff. As far as skills go though, Ice Path, great setup skill. Obviously it doesn't do too much damage, it scales from like 25 to 100 damage, which is virtually nothing. Dual Breath is a skill that, imagine it as the Sanjin Yashiro skill. It's not amazing, but it does so many different things. It fires two things out. One of these is basically the Ice Path slows enemies while the fire delivers damage over time. The burn damage is 5 scaling to 20. It lasts for 4 seconds, so not a huge amount of damage. The damage on the Ice Path is 140, so that adds to the damage, makes it a little bit more respectable. I'm trying to team fight here, but I was suffering a little bit from lag in this, so I end up getting killed, which is kind of annoying. The move slow is 30%, and basically it's just an all-round disable and team fight control skill. And luckily this Huskar did ridiculously well in his lane. They obviously didn't really know what to do against the Huskar. He basically got way more space than he was supposed to. And because of that, he's going to pick up a couple kills there. So we are pulling ahead, despite the weird positioning and dumb stuff by the Huskar. We are going to be okay this game generally, because the rest of our lanes went okay. Let's see how the Pudge and the Huskar's doing. Huskar's 5-4 and 1, not a terrible score, not a good one. Pudge is only 2-3 and 3, so that's actually a pretty poor score, really. 2-3 and 3 is not where you want to be at. I, on the other hand, am 0-1 and 3. That's not particularly good. I don't want to die. But having 3 assists is okay for me. Kills on supports, worthless. Well, not worthless, they add and they're helpful, but they're not particularly worth anything. Most of your gold comes from extra CS, from creep pulling and little things like that, as well as from tower gold and team fights, mostly. You know, most of it comes from assists. And that's a good thing for you. I saw this Huskar was chasing after people here, so I'm going to go and head off the Mirana. So I know they're going to run from the Golem, as well as the Pudge. I'm pretty much just going to try and guarantee the kill here. I used both of my skills because I wasn't sure whether he was going to leap. In the end he did leap. I didn't know whether he had leaped up or anything, so he does leap. And whoa, Queen of Pain on their team got arcane boots? That's bad, guys. If you're ever playing Queen of Pain, don't get arcane boots. That is... oh, that's rough. You don't want them. Those are bad. And I'm pinging that basically to let the Alchemist know, but of course, whether he'll farm it or not, whether he even can farm it, whether he knows what items to buy, I don't know. He was kind of an idiot, if I'm honest. Like, I don't want to be mean to the guy, but he's kind of a dumbass. Let's see what items he's gone. He's gone Tranquil Boots into Shadow Amulet. Blech. Like, Shadow Amulet over the Claymore as well. Like, get the Claymore first on Alchemist if you're buying it, first of all. Second of all, those are the wrong boots, friend. Trying to guarantee this kill here for the Alchemist. Does pick up the kill. It was a nice easy kill for us there, basically. Whenever Windrunner tries to get away, she's not actually as survivable as people think. It's mostly about good play and duking rather than just using her skills. And this guy is going to die. Yeah, he does die eventually. One thing to note about Jakiro is that Dual Breath and Ice Path, as well as Macro Pyre even, have very, very bad cast times. He's very, very clunky as a hero, as I said before. He has a bad attack animation, he has bad spell animation, he has bad turn rate. He is, however, hard to kill. So he's basically like a big... He's a very dumb hero in some senses, but he offers you a lot of control, and he does have some finesse to him. Now, as far as skill build's concerned, you can see I'm level 7 here. I've actually maxed out Dual Breath and Ice Path. The reason for this is because Macro Pyre generally requires you to hit an Ice Path for people to actually get damaged by it. What Macro Pyre is, I will mouse over it. It basically does damage scaling from 100 to 180. It lasts for 7 seconds. It shoots out in a big AoE and it sits there and it bubbles. And it's only on a 60-second cooldown. It costs from 220 to 440 mana, which is pretty bullshit amount of mana that it makes you pay for that. But one thing I'd like to point out is I've just hit level 7 here, picked up my arcane boots. I have 891 HP. The strength gain on Jakiro is great. It's 2.30, so it's really, really great. His intelligence gain is pretty good as well, but you don't do any damage, so it doesn't really matter. Your intelligence gain is just there to make sure that you have a big enough mana pool. Arcane boots are there mostly because any other boots don't really make sense on Jakiro. I guess you could arguably say phase boots just for positioning. Anything else though seems really, really redundant to me. Arcane boots just gives you so much more for your team, so much more utility. So picking up wards and counter wards here, the Warlock did it last, and I believe he's just picked up a mech, so he's a little bit poor. He doesn't actually have boots, which is really strange. But he knows what he's doing. He's been playing quite well this game. He's not needed boots because his positioning has mostly been pretty alright. He did get caught under their tower once, and that was kind of a useless use of the rock there. He was doing it basically so we could get this tower into to a point where we can deny it. And again, I'm just doing what I can to see if we can deny this tower. And then we do get the denial from the end. So that's pretty important as far as I'm concerned. Pink, what are you doing? Alright, you're playing badly. I'm sorry if you guys think I'm bad-mouthing this guy or anything. In reality, I was doing the absolute best as far as instructing him what to do, telling him little things, giving him hints throughout the game. That's something that I do. I mean, for God's sake, I'm making these bloody videos. I definitely don't badmouth people within game. I'm not the sort of people that's going to swear at people. I will tell you if your play is wrong though, or is like making serious mistakes, or especially if it's making detriments to people. He says while he misses an ice path. That said, I then make up for it for getting a 4-hero dual breath, so whatever. I'm then going to reset, put myself in a position where I can try and get a multi-hero ice path. I'm not going to manage it. But we do pick up the kill on that guy. And I was sure the Windrunner would back out then, so I threw Ice Path behind him. The reason for that is because, again, Ice Path does a very long cast animation. If you just throw it where he is and then he backs out, it will miss. But he doesn't decide to back out, he tries to fight it with everybody, so I missed the dual breath because that Huskar goes down, but what can you say, we killed 3 people and we lost the Huskar. Totally worth it in my opinion, especially because Huskars are long lane in this situation and is pretty much a throwaway hero. He's one of those heroes that is expected to go suicidal pretty much constantly anyway, so. That said, he's actually, I wouldn't say doing the best on our team because he has 8 deaths, but he's certainly having a really big impact this game. Unlike Alchemist, who was only level 9 after being the carry hero. Just think, he could have been level 10 by 10 minutes if he'd been playing properly, but he's not, so sometimes people don't want to do stuff like that. The best thing for me right now, my score is pretty much at the point where I feel it's perfect for this sort of time in the game. 2, 1 and 7 is really, really great. My CS is only 34, I have 38, I only have 4 denies. I added a CS, guys. Wait, that can't be right. 38, 4? I'm confused. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. I have 12. 12 and 1. So not good CS, mostly because that guy fucked with my pull camp a lot. But I'm doing pretty well, really. 2 kills is okay. I don't really need those kills. If those had been assists, I would have no problem with it. 1 death is okay. It's not unusual to die on a support hero. Jakiro is the sort of hero that you don't want to die on too much, but it happens sometimes. Considering that I'm buying wards and stuff as well for the team, I think I'm doing okay generally. 7 assists is definitely very strong, and that's the sort of thing that you want to do on Jakiro. Generally, you want to provide as much control to the enemy, slow them all down with your dual breath, catch them all out with your ice blast, your ice path if you can, and then other than that, you're not really trying to do anything. And these guys are jumping way too far in behind them right now. I'm going to go in for it though anyway in the end, because just of the situation that I'm in. This Dragon Knight is probably going to get me. I do throw out my dual breath to see if I could burst him down in time, but I don't manage to. Picked up a belt of giant strength. You might go, oh, why don't you get a bracer? It's cheaper and gives you pretty much the same. Well, it's not actually cheaper, but it gives you more. The reason for this is I want a Necronomicon book this game. Why do I want a Necronomicon book? Jakiro's useful in pushes, and I wanted him to be more useful in pushes. There's not a particularly good reason. I just felt it's a useful item. Necronomicon is an item that you can never tell anybody they're bad for getting, because it's good on everyone. Like, it's just a generally good item. On carry heroes, it adds to their DPS. On support heroes, it adds to the push. On everyone, it's useful. On utility heroes, it gives them utility. In games where they have lots of invis heroes, it gives you vision once you get it to level 3. So, now you just saw my 3rd skill there. You might have missed it. You've noticed my regular attacks come from the blue-headed dragon. They're the little ice blasty things here. Liquid Fire is a proc on a 20 seconds scaling to 5 seconds timer. It does burn damage. It lasts for 5 seconds when it hits people. Hits in a radius of 500, so that means it splashes out. And it's basically liquid fire, so it does an attack slow up to 50%, scaling from 20% to 50%, and it works on towers, which makes it really good. That ward was about to time out. I was there, and I was like, may as well use it. I placed the sentry ward to counter ward against this spot and this spot on the map, but you can see, when I said on the map, I meant I was like looking on the map, but turns out they didn't have wards there at all on the map at the moment, so what are you going to go? Throw down my ice path there, get 3 people in, throw down Macropie, and you can see it's not doing particularly great damage, and they immediately get out of it as well. That's the reason that you don't generally pick up your ultimate early on this hero. It's just very, very underwhelming. And that's pretty much what I wanted to do in that fight. I do pick up an extra kill as well as a couple of assists, and that's, you know, that's really, really strong for me. Now 3, 2, and 9. And I'm just trying to zone them out a little bit there as well. Same goes for the thing. That was a really weird hook. It was like really obvious that he was going for the Dragon Knight, and then he gets the Windrunner. Like, and again, 2 hero ice path there. You can see how it's such a strong skill in a team fight like that. And eventually we pick up all those kills. So for the loss of a Pudge there, we pick up the entire enemy team. I finish off my Necronomicon, and that's a really, really good team fight for us. Picked up a couple more levels in Liquid Fire as well. A second ago I had 1 level, now I have 3. Yes, I don't speak Russian, I'm sorry guys. And you shouldn't be speaking Russian in my matchmaking pool, because I specifically stated that I only speak English in Valve's thing. So yeah, people keep on saying that Huskar is an OP hero. Huskar is one of the most counterable heroes right now. Like, he's really easy to deal with if you know what you're doing. Get a stun, and get a really good right clicks. Any hero that right clicks really, really hard, or hero that has a bash particularly, those sorts of heroes are really, really strong. Even if he picks up a Ghost Scepter, where he can still attack using Burning Spears, by the way, which is the thing that people keep on calling Huskar. Just pick Ursa next game. Yeah, that's another hero that hits him really hard. Unless he gets a Ghost Scepter, Ursa will completely destroy that hero. But if you pick Slardar, which is the one that I suggest to most people, he is a hard counter to Huskar right now. The reason for that is that Huskar's been changed a little bit. He gains magic resistance based on his levels, or on his stacks of, I forget the name of it, it's Berserker's Blood. He gains attack speed and now bonus resistance. He used to get attack speed and damage, and basically used to mean that nukers were really good for him. Now it's the total opposite. It's people with stuns, bashes, and physical damage. And that's why Slardar's so good against him, because You put his armor down to like nothing. He already has bad armor. You put his armor down to virtually nothing. You don't really care too much about burning spears, where if he's going to use a Ghost Scepter, you stun him and then you right click him hard as soon as the Ghost Scepter is off, or you know, the next time that you have a chance to hit the guy. You have a passive bash on Slardar as well. He basically just completely destroys Huskar. It's one of those heroes that really annoys me at the moment, how people complain about he's OP, because he's so easy to deal with and he's very, very counterable. Particularly heroes like Spirit Breaker also deal with him well, Sven deals with him extremely well, Chaos Knight deals with him extremely well. Another hero that deals with him pretty damn well is Naga Siren. There's so many heroes that deal with him very, very well. Mirana deals with him very well. And this Huskar was complaining that we were helping him here. If you don't realise, I'm giving him Liquid Fire, which is slowing down the attack speed of Roshan. So him complaining that we were coming here is really, really dumb. And I said to the Warlock, just shut up, dude. Don't. No, not to him. I said to the Huskar, like, shut up, dude, seriously. We're helping you here. This is only making the Roshan faster. So what? You're going to get less XP from it? It's not like we're going to steal your Aegis, and the XP really isn't important. Also, you went for a bad item choice, which is a Heart of Tarask, which is not particularly useful on Huskar anymore. He should maybe get like an Armlet and a Ghost Scepter is, I think, probably the best build on Huskar right now. Lifesteal is really bad on him compared to how it used to be. Stacking strength is really not as strong as it used to be. You want utility items now. So picked up a Necronomicon. For people who don't realise what this does, basically gives you plus 15 int, plus 8 strength when you pick it up. Costs a fair amount, but has 3 levels. Each of these levels is according to its what it does, which is it creates Necronomicon warriors. There's an archer and a warrior, like a melee guy. The melee guy, both of them drain mana when they hit people. The warrior also, when you kill him, he deals pure damage to the unit that kills him. It's a pretty damn large amount as well. I think at level 1 it's like 200 and then it scales up to 400. You can see them there. They're really small at the moment. When you get more levels they get really, really big. They don't do particularly large amounts of damage either. Let me just... I can't bother, but they do like 44 damage each or something right now, but they attack pretty damn fast and they get auras applied to them and stuff as well, which helps. You can see they're very useful in pushing. They take a lot of damage. If people kill them, they take a lot of damage from it. I believe that guy killed one of them there and actually died from it. And you can see we're going to push down another tower here. And Jakiro is really useful in situations like this. Same goes for Warlock. This game really did revolve around the support heroes we had, because we couldn't rely on our core heroes too much. The Huskar is doing some pretty damn good work, but that's mostly because of their bad play at the moment. If the Dragon Knight knew what was up, he would be completely kicking the crap out of that guy. But it doesn't look to me like Dragon Knight has really enough farm. Yeah, he just has an armlet at 26 minutes, which really isn't enough given that he was a carry hero. He's only 1 level above me as well. And I was trying to de-ward up there, but I couldn't because of the my range disadvantage. Jakiro does only have 400 range, and this doesn't help him very much. And you can see there just how tanky I was. I was able to take damage from the I'm sending off my creeps to try and help there. I just A-click them basically on the base. Like I'd press A and click over here somewhere, and then they just go off and do their own thing. Picked up another recipe there, and I can see that's there, and I'm gonna go do it myself now. Because I can reach from there. I couldn't reach from that low ground though to D-ward. This is a very good defensive or aggressive ward location, by the way. You can see the vision it provides is just useful. It provides vision over here, over this sort of area. I'm confident enough because I know everybody else is diving so far, and the only one left alive at the moment is the Dragon Knight, to just sort of throw myself in from the other side. I'm actually going to pick up my Necrobook 3 here as well, so I do have enough money for it. And this is very, very rich for a support Jakiro at this point, but the reason that I'm so rich is because we took down a lot of towers in quick succession. And now look who's here! Alchemist! I hadn't seen you for fucking ages. It's because you did nothing this game so far. It's 5, 3 and 6, which is a really average really poor score. I would say poor actually, not average, just poor. It's a really poor score on a carry hero. Honestly, it's really, really bad. The Huskar did a lot of work this game, but he was an asshole, did a lot of swearing and stuff. This was basically a game that revolved around the supports. Me and the Warlock created a lot of space, did a lot of tower pushes for our team, and just provided a lot of team fight as well. Especially team fight control. I'm getting bursted down here, I'm a little bit scared I might die. Do use my Necronomicon warriors, and you can see they're hitting pretty hard there. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's better than normal creeps. Take into account they drain mana as well. And if anyone dare kill them, well, it's gonna hurt. It only counts when you hit the warrior, by the way, as far as people that you kill. As far as item builds on Jakiro go, they're very, very varied. Things like Necrobook are very useful. Tanking up generally is seen as useful. You can pick up Mechanism. It's very, very common on Jakiro. A lot more common than I would expect it to be, actually. Veil of Discord is a very, very strong item on the hero, because you can lock down the entire enemy team if they position themselves badly for 2.2 seconds. Very easy to get off a good Veil of Discord. Throw on Macro Power and a Dual Breath and you do some really, really sick damage, and I mean really sick. That was a great hook by the way. Like, really great. Genuinely did not expect such a good hook from that guy. I am looking to create a Veil of Discord this game, and they keep on saying end and stuff. If they played together and they played properly, they could definitely still come back into this game. Other items that you might want to get, let's see, what else is there as far as suggested stuff for Jakiro? Surely I'm going to look at the shop soon. I can't open it myself, can I? I'm going to go into the free hammer and open up the shop myself. Pipe, Shiva's Guard I wouldn't personally suggest. Pipe is a very good item on him. Force Staff is very useful. Yule Scepter is okay. Aghanims I wouldn't suggest. Scythe of Ice, if you can get it, is pretty good, but it's not like amazing or anything. Other than that, there's not really anything else that I would suggest, items-wise. Rod of Atos, that's actually pretty good. 5 support's better than 5 carry. Any day, I totally agree. You know what the hell's up, man. I'm gonna go back to my perspective here. You can see how crappy Macro Pyre is. It's doing less damage than my Necrobooks at this point, with it at level 2. It does okay damage, but the problem with Macro Pyre is keeping people in it, and generally people do not stand in it. So, that's my introduction / guide to Jakiro, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you understand how to use the hero. I hope you understand a little bit more about Trilanes as well, about positioning and stuff. I'm going to go over that a few more times, because it's something that's really, really important. If you're playing if you're playing at mid-level, I genuinely believe that you should be playing at least half your games in a defensive tri-lane. I know most of the time people don't, but at mid-level skill you really should be. At high skill, which is generally where I play at, you should all the time be playing with a defensive tri-lane or dual lanes with a jungler and such. You should be playing those, basically those more efficient... Whoa, where the fuck did I end up? Okay, that's okay. You should be playing with those more efficient lane setups. You should be playing with dual lanes on the off lane. That's terrible. Please don't do that, guys. Unless you're using very specific stuff, but that's a different story. So, item builds and stuff on Jakiro. Tank up, support your team, control the team fight, slow people down, disable people. Try and get yourself an advantage in lane. That's something that Jakiro is quite good for, but he's not amazing for it. He does have limitations as a hero, but he's very, very tanky for a support hero. He's one of my favourite heroes. I have like a 85% win rate on him or something ridiculous like that. I have a really good win rate on him. So, thanks for watching, guys, and GG.